Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to talk to you about My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, Chapter 96, Top Moments. We're doing it top moment style because it helps me organize the video, and speaking of organization, man, I have had a lot of trouble talking today. If you watched the last two videos, One Piece and Bleach, I'm really struggling. Hopefully I've gotten over it, but I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about this chapter. I have some footage playing in the background just in case, I don't know, if it keeps you entertained. I am thinking of using gameplay footage in these videos, so peeps, please let me know down below if that's something that's okay with you. It's just something to fill the screen while I'm talking. Anyway peeps, let's just get down to it. This chapter, I really love it. And you know, there's nothing really happening, but it puts Izuku's mom center stage. And Izuku's mom is really, I think, one of the big things that differentiates Boku no Hero Academia from a lot of other shonens, in the fact that she is a visible force in the story, and because she's kind of the thing that tells us this is pretty much our society just with the introduction of powers. And Boku no Hero Academia is really a story where it really is based on the society that we have right now, and it's not that far removed. And you see notions of this sometimes in the story. But anyway, that's for a whole other topic. Anyway, let's just get into it. This chapter opens up with the fallout. So that's my first really big moment, because we find out what's going on with the heroes. All Might's pretty much down for the count, fully retired. Genist is taking a break because we saw the beating he got from All For One. And the ones that I really want to talk about is Ragdoll. First, we find out she's number 32, and I think that's pretty high. Like, top 50 heroes? That's pretty high. But we open up with her and finding out about her retirement because of the whole quirk being stolen thing. And this is just really a top moment because there's a lot going into this scene, especially because if you follow Boku no Hero Academia really closely, like if you're on the Reddit, you'll know that the author does special comments in every volume. And Ragdoll and what's the other one? Tiger. They've got characterization really well. They've got good characterization in the background. And for Ragdoll in particular, she's the one that came up with the idea of having a team, a superhero team, and she's the one that really cares about her teammates. She really loves the other three teammates. And so it's really heartbreaking when they're all hugging like that, because it really was her dream to have a superhero team with her friends. And that's taken away from her. From a character point of view, like, that's really sad. I actually feel really bad for her. And you know, a lot of people are going to miss it because it is a side comment that's included as a comment in a volume. It's pretty obscure information. You wouldn't really find it, but at the very least, if you're watching this video, you know, like, it's a really sad moment. And the next moment I really enjoyed was also Koda watching, because I think this will do a lot of good for his character. And maybe, who knows, he'll become a hero in the future after seeing this. Anyway, we transition into the principal's plan. That's the next big moment, as the principal is pretty much talking out what's going on and how they have to, like, really step up their game. And for one, I really enjoy the principal. I feel like this guy coming up with plans is probably the best thing that anyone could have. The next moment I really enjoyed was the whole exchange with Jiro's dad. How he's pretty much trying to pretend he's just like this tough parent, but then Jiro comes in and just telling them, yeah, he was all in All Might's team. He was rooting. He was so proud of Jiro being taught by a guy who would go that far. And so he's the first sign of what we're going to talk about in this chapter, because it's very interesting, because the opinion of the people involved is very different from the opinion of the people who are just watching. And man, this is so true to society. Always the people who are watching from the outside are going to have very different opinions from the people who are actually involved at the moment. And people from the outside are going to think they're doing the best. But at the end of the day, they're just talking. They're just getting involved in a situation because they don't have any weight in it. So they feel they're entitled to talk about it. And that's just stupidity at its finest. Or not stupidity. That's a bit of a harsh word, because everyone does this in every aspect of life. It's just negligence or oversight, I think would be better words. Apologies for the stupidity. That actually was a bit too harsh. But it's pretty bad when you see it happening in a series that you like, and it's like, no, like, why are people being like this? But it's something people do. Anyway, that whole moment was very nice. And, oh, frick, I forgot something that was happening in that moment. Something Aizawa said about responsibility, I think. Yeah, it had to be about responsibility. How, like, they've become kind of lax, or what's the word? They underestimated, or they became overconfident. To be fair, this has never happened before in their society. So they were in the right to be caught with their pants down, because they just didn't know to keep their pants up. They didn't know. They thought they were home. They thought they could pull off their pants and just be cool and relaxed. But no, it's a different world now. So it's just showing that Aizawa still is taking blame and trying to really apologize. But at least in front of the parents, he doesn't have to do that. And speaking of more parents, Bakugos Mom. This is the next top moment, because before now we've seen dialogue from her. We've seen how angry this girl can get. But actually seeing it and seeing the exchange between Bakugo and his mom, it's really funny. And seeing their dad just kind of be there, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a riot. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. Bakugo's mom, though, brings an interesting perspective. And this is important because this will contrast with Izuku's mom later. But Bakugo's mom really, she brings up this notion of having to watch a kid get spoiled and just rotten and just be so arrogant because, well, he was always smart, and then he was born with a really amazing quirk to top it off. So he's been pampered, and it's only natural, as she says, that Bakugo came out the way he did. And she was really worried about the kid. But seeing what the teachers said about Bakugo, seeing them talk about what her kid is at his base, it was really nice, because in the hero school, she sees the opportunity for Bakugo to become someone who can be proud, someone who she can be proud of, and not just this arrogant little bitch who gets kidnapped and causes trouble for everyone. So her perspective is really important, because it's like, yeah, he got kidnapped. She should be the one that's the most worried. But at the same time, the heroes went in to save him, and the heroes believed in Bakugo's ability to not go rogue. And that's something that she's probably not encountering from the media. They're all asking about what Bakugo was doing, or why, or just talking about how his violent nature is just too much for the heroes to handle. So seeing that her kid was defended by the people that she entrusted him to in the first place, that must have done wonders for her. And she's probably really happy about the whole plan, because it just showed that they are trying to take responsibility and be careful for the kids. Now, Midoriya's mom, Izuku's mom, is the antithesis compared to Bakugo's, because whereas Bakugo's mom had a child who was brimming with potential from the very beginning, he was strong enough, he could handle himself. Izuku's mom had to deal with a weak child, a child that had to watch from the sidelines, a child that she personally had given up on getting powers. So she had to pretty much be a mom to this little kid. And the panel we get of him busting into her room, pretending he's going to save someone, it's really just showing the innocence of Izuku in regards to his relationship with his mother. And it's very nicely done. Like, you can't fault this girl for being worried about her son. Like she said, all of a sudden his quirk manifested. She wasn't prepared for this. She wasn't ready. She thought heroing was just going to be a fun thing. Do it like All Might. But after seeing what All Might had to do, and we know Izuku is going into that kind of future. It's not like a situation where All Might could say, yeah, Izuku won't be involved in that situation. No, Izuku is going to be involved. That's the fundamental point of having the One for All. And so seeing Izuku's mom crying like that and being adamant that she doesn't want her son to get hurt, especially because Izuku has done a horrible job at it. Like, look, the man just goes in and breaks his arms like no second thought. They really need to teach him some kind of sense of restraint, or some kind of sense of really, really expend all your options before you start destroying your arms. Overall, I can't fault Izuku's mom, because it's a very realistic approach, especially when you consider that she's had to take care of her kid, because her kid, she didn't think he was going to make it. And now Izuku's whole life is in danger, because he really wants to go back to hero school, because he really wants to be a hero. He's prepared for it. We've seen that he's prepared for it from the way he breaks his arms. But that's still something painful for a mom to have to watch. It's not like Bakugo's mom. Bakugos Mom had to live with knowing that this kid is horribly overpowered. It's just not the same for Izuku's mom. And I think that's a really powerful moment. And All Might's face at the end is just, I think that's the best face we've gotten from Weak Might. And I'm excited to see what he's going to say, because this is pretty high stakes. Overall, I'm pretty happy. Oh, I forgot one moment. Bakugo's moment with All Might. There's just respect and admiration and respect towards Izuku in that moment. The author's been doing something really good with just Bakugo and him being silent and him just having his face and not be angry. It really does show Bakugo is a smart character. And I'm very excited to see Bakugo in the future, to see how this experience changes him. Overall, like I said, I really love this chapter. Anytime I can talk about the morality of Izuku's mom, it's a good chapter. And it's just a fundamentally interesting topic to talk about, especially when you have Bakugos Mom there to contrast her so well. Overall, peeps, I love this chapter. We're going into a new arc. I'm excited to actually see what it's going to be like when all the kids are dorming together. It's going to be very interesting. We also find out that Class B is the most injured, which is to be fair, because like all the other characters kind of knew what they were doing in Class A. But yeah, peeps, that's pretty much it for me. I really love this chapter. Tell me what you thought. And if you have any comments about the way I'm presenting these videos, please let me know, because I do want to make at least something visually entertaining for you. But till next time, peeps, have a good day.